Hey everybody, welcome back and thank you so much for joining me here on the My Bourbon Journey Whiskey Review channel. So today from Barrell Craft Spirits, we've got their latest release, which is batch 25, this being a cask strength bourbon. This is coming in at 113.4 proof or 56.7% ABV. MASHBILL on this is undisclosed, would be very difficult with all the blends that are usually within each one of these batches. It is age stated as 5 years and 6 months. So what that means basically is, with it being age stated as 5 years, 6 months, that's the youngest bourbon that is going to be within this particular batch. So there could be older whiskeys. It's just the youngest one in this batch, again, is 5 years and 6 months. And the MSRP on this is right around that $90 price point. So, all right, why don't we go ahead and get into the review. First, let's take a look at the color here. So as you can see, kind of, you know, a nice copper, lightish copper type of color. And again, a couple things. I like to move the whiskey around in the glass just to kind of help introduce a little bit of air to it. And then also kind of gives you an idea of the oils that are there. This actually is showing some really, really nice oils in there. So I don't believe they do any chill filtration with any of their stuff either. So that always helps to retain a little bit more of the, obviously the oils. Hopefully that translates into more flavor on the palate. So, all right, let's go ahead and get into the nose. Oh, right away, like a really nice, well, first is like a little bit of heat right away, which you'd expect. Again, you know, 113.4 proof. You know, so be careful with it a little bit there. But this really nice kind of rich, like creme brulee note. Really nice spice to it. Almost, well, just like a really rich kind of like rye spice that's there. Nice caramel note. Light oak, not super dominant in the oak. There's a little bit of kind of that oak tannin that's there. Slight mint aspect to it. Even with this, a little bit of kind of a ground, like a ground coffee note that's there. Not as much of the, like the coffee bean, which sometimes can be a little bit more muted, but this is a little bit heavier of a coffee note, so you get kind of that grind note to it. Yeah, again, slight mint aspect. And then a little bit of a citrus, like an orange citrus, orange peel, something along those lines that's there. Maybe slight nutty aspect to it. Maybe even some like a graham cracker that's there. You know, it's one thing with Barrell is that they do such a great job with each one of their batches, again, always being different with the different blends. So you've got a lot of different mash bills that are kind of, you know, commingling and everything there. So, you know, their artistry really for what Barrell does is within the blending. So they're master blenders that you know, do the blends. You know, they always do a really, really nice job. All right, more importantly, let's see it. Almost got a little bit of a perfume kind of note. I don't know if that's like a floral note, but almost kind of like a intense like perfume type of note. All right, let's see how this one tastes. Cheers. So far, the immediate, I would say, like drinkability, you're not getting like a big amount of heat that you would expect off of something that's 113.4 proof. You're not getting that at all. Really nice like baking spice aspect that's there to it. Some of the like a cinnamon, like a nutmeg type of aspect. Definitely some of that orange zest really starts to come out quite a bit in this. Again, that like ground coffee note is present. Really nice tobacco note, really like a sweet tobacco. Again, this is more along the lines of like a pipe tobacco. And I guess when I say that, the pipe tobacco is more of what you would smell versus like what you would necessarily taste. So that sweetness that you get or smell from pipe tobacco is probably what this would be. Even maybe a touch of like a green apple there as well. There's a little bit of a tartness that's there on this one. For me, a lot of it sits right on the more the mid to the back of the palate. I don't get a lot, you know, kind of on the front or the tip of my tongue. But again, a lot of that like orange zest is there, followed by, again, some of that kind of like green apple that's there, that tartness that's there. Nice spice, medium oak, some of that like nutmeg. Coffee notes are definitely there. Yeah, it's a bit of a wave of kind of what is typical of you know, Barrell, having a lot going on. So you're picking up all these different aspects. And again, this is a whiskey that if you take your time with it, as you kind of sip it throughout the night, you may pick up a lot of different things that you don't in the first whatever hour or something that you may be sipping on it. So it's, again, one of those brands and whiskeys that is always kind of fun to take your time with to see kind of what types of things come out in it. Slight bit of dryness that's there. Some dark fruits now kind of starting to come through a little bit. Almost like a burnt sugar, but more beyond like it turning into caramel. This is a more along the lines, you get a little bit of that. Maybe this is some of the tartness that's there, but you get a little bit more of that, like that burnt sugar part of it a little bit. So there's a little bit of a tartness, or maybe even a slight bitter undertone. And I don't mean that necessarily in a bad way. There's just that little bite that it has to it. Again, a little bit of mint kind of came out in this one. I'd be interested to know what the blends are, and I guess I'll have to go back through and look, and if I find it, I'll leave that in the link in the description below as to what some of the blends are in this one. So yeah, some of that like medium oak kind of continues to linger a little bit on this one. So yeah, a lot going on. Again, I think this is just another solid, very drinkable bourbon that Barrell has crafted in, you know, yet again. So they generally speaking always seem to do a nice job with their blends. And again, it's one that I look forward to because it's always going to be something different. So they're always mixing it up. You know, they've got a lot of between their dovetail and their rums and their, you know, other whiskeys that they've got. They have so many things going on that are kind of always changing their, like, you know, infinite barrel or infinite bottle that they have. So Barrell is always kind of pushing the envelope with their blends, which is something I've always kind of appreciated with Barrell. So I guess going back to this specifically, finish wise, I'd say it's all of medium, maybe medium long, not quite long. You know, but again, you've got a lot of those lingering spices, more of the baking spice. So like the nutmeg, the cinnamon, that nice kind of oak that's there. You know, it's kind of more of a medium oak. It's not dominant by any means. Again, that lingering orange zest has been present throughout the nose, the palate, the finish, all of it. So you've continued to pick up some of that orange zest aspect that's there. And again, some of that mint kind of lingers. It sits there right on the mid to the back of the palate. There's that lingering kind of, you know, mint or spearmint, you know, aspect to it. And there's just a slight amount of dryness. It's not super dry. by any means, but overall, it's what I would classify as a very drinkable, cask strength bourbon. I think it's a very good, bourbon, and I think as this one begins to, even open up a little bit more, hopefully it will continue to even evolve, from there. So with that being said, I always love to hear people's thoughts and feedback on these particular whiskeys. So if you've had, this newest release, batch 25, leave a comment below. Let me know your thoughts on this, or, the Barrell Craft Spirits, or their whiskeys, period. I'm always interested and appreciative of people's feedback that they leave. So, I do appreciate that. Also, if you'd like to follow me, you can on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all of those places at My Bourbon Journey. Also, if you'd like to support the channel, you can, which is greatly appreciated. I'll have that linked in the description below as well. So with that being said, so again, from Barrell Craft Spirits, this is their Barrell Bourbon Batch 25 cask strength. So with that being said, I want to say also thank you so much for tuning into another one of my reviews. Greatly appreciate all of your support. And remember, it's about the journey and not the destination. Cheers.